also holding down a top 10 spot.
Vehicle and asset finance from Absa. Going off the beaten from Absa. Overcoming all obstacles.
Drama is always just round the corner on an off-road race. And soon after the start of the second loop, Gearbox Melodies sidelined Hannes Grobler and Joan Moore in the Donaldson Nissan Navara, and Hugo and Jaap de Bruin in the Mickelin Excel Toyota Hilux.
In a remarkable comeback from 25th on the road, Duncan Foss and Ralph Pitchford suddenly found themselves in the lead, but all was not well with the Donaldson Nissan crew, with the note being handed over to team members at a spectator point.
Yeah, it looks Duncan's not feeling very well. He's got some gastro or something, and he's vomiting in the car, so that's not good news, really. But he's got a healthy lead, which was 6 minutes lead for around about half an hour ago. So we'll see if he's able to keep up the pace till the end.
After losing time at the designated service point replacing a damaged wheel hub, Evan Hutchinson and Achim Bergman dropped back to 5th place in the special vehicle category. With the demise of Clint Gibson and Gary Campbell and the Rapsa Bat, the Motorride crew were soon back at the front of the field and pushing as hard as ever. Also on the move were Shamir Variawa and Siegfried Rousseau, who'd taken the Total Porter into 2nd place.
Still going along steadily were Mike Whitehouse and brother-in-law Matthew Carlson, who had a firm grip on a podium place in the Regent Racing Bat.
The demise of Grobler Moore and the De Bruin Toyota, along with problems for Hein Lateghan and Chris Birkin, lifted Thomas Rundle and Henny Terstege into 2nd place in the production vehicle category. The Ford was minus some bodywork, but the pair were on their way to a dream result. Ivar Tollefson and Quinn Evans had a grip on the final podium place, and a dream result was also there for the taking by Gary Berthold and Andre Vermeulen, who were running strongly in 4th place in the Atlas Copco Toyota Hilux. Behind them, Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst were in a solid 5th in the RFS Toyota Hilux.
Hy kan jong. Kom my karre.
The Class P battle was all but settled, with former Class B champions Jan and Hendrik Kraai putting a little daylight between themselves and Johan van Staden and James Rousseau in the KEC bat. It was an impressive performance from the unheralded van Staden and Rousseau, who are the reigning Northern Regions champions.
Van Staden and Rousseau were being chased in the closing stages by Nick and Ryan Harper, who'd made up ground in the Atlas Copco Bat, and reigning SA champions Cully and Quinton Sulwald, who'd endured a tough day at the office.
An overshoot supplied George and Sharon Barkhuizen with a little late excitement. They disappeared down a side road at a rapid rate of knots in the AIM Toyota Hilux. The incident got the juices flowing, but did not cost them much time, and the Bloemfontein husband and wife team were a solid 6th in class after losing time stuck in a hole on the first loop of the race.
For the Besaimnote brothers, Johan and Etienne, the event was what they described as character building. They had no brakes on the prologue and finished the race without a clutch. Under the circumstances, the brothers were more than happy to salvage championship points with a 3rd place in Class P.
The impressive Dion Venter and Ian Palmer had a 2nd successive Class E win in the bag in the 4x4 Mega World Toyota Hilux, and were also a solid 7th overall in the production vehicle category. Hein Lateghan and Chris Birkin salvaged points after Loop 2 problems, and Toyota grabbed a 2nd class win when Cliff and Louis Weichelt gradually ground the Class D competition into submission. Dewald van Breda and Jan de Tooy held on for 2nd in Class D, and Pikkie Labuschagne and Rikus Erasmus completed a good day for the 4x4 Mega World squad.
Herman and Wichard Sulwald plugged away to finish 8th overall in the special vehicle category. Right behind them were Naeem Musaji and Mohammed Mulston in the Tyre Rack Jimco, who were 2nd on the Adenko 400. The two crews also lost time helping each other out of awkward situations and were happy just to make it to the finish.
Right at the back of the field, there were a handful of crews for whom time was of the essence. They were battling to beat the time bar cut-off. Henny Strumpfer and Jan-Hendrik van der Linde clinched a podium place in Class D in only their second outing, with brothers David and Gary White overcoming a whole series of problems to bring the Rokon Racing back home in fourth place in Class P.
Former champions Richard Chilling and Chris Davies struggled along gamely to finish fifth in Class P in the ACECO, with Baki Rubaluza and Kulili Vakeliza the last of the classified finishers in the Ford Racing Ranger. A gutsy performance also earned them a podium place in Class E.
Back at the finish at Mentor's Kraal, there was a large crowd on hand to see Duncan Foss and Ralph Pitchford bring the Donaldson Nissan Navara home first overall and first in the SP class. With Foss having to overcome a severe bout of car sickness, it was a performance full of character and gave the pair their second win this season.
Just over 5 minutes behind Foss and Pitchford were Special Vehicle and Class A winners Evan Hutchinson and Achim Bergman in the impressive Motorite Revo 1 4x4. It was also their second win of the season.
Second overall in the Special Vehicle category was Shamir Variawa and Siegfried Rousseau, who started 11th on the road and 5th in Class A.
The final place on the Special Vehicle podium went to Mike Whitehouse and Matthew Carlson in the Regent Racing Bat, who put together a solid performance.
Second overall in the Production Vehicle category was a fairy tale result for Thomas Rundle in his SP class debut.
This is just a big dream for me come true.
Henny, you've been in many cars in your life. What do you think of the Ford?
As he said, the car is 3 years old, but it's still going strong. There was nothing wrong. It went 100%. Didn't have any problem. We had one flat tire this morning. And for the rest, no, it went well. And he's a very good driver. I'll see great things for him in the future.
For Hein Lateghan, a recent recruit to the Castrol Toyota team, an off-road baptism of fire continued with another mishap on Loop 2.
We were lying third after the SP and going through the tunnel. My wheel get caught on the left-hand side of the tunnel into a water gully. And I tried to turn out of it, and the car swinged over, hit a concrete block on the right and flipped over at the end of the tunnel. And basically a lot of people passed us, and then Chris Visser came there, and he actually stopped to help pull us back on our wheels. So it was unbelievable of him to do that.
For the other SP class debutant, Gary Berthold, fourth place in the Production Vehicle class was also a dream result.
Yeah, very interesting outing. Great to be the first privateer, first Toyota home. Big difference between racing an SP and racing a space special vehicle. I think the SP got to be more precise, much neater, no room for error. It's much closer racing. Level up, and I'm very impressed. I thank Atlas Copco for their support. Toyota have done a great job in helping us, and to Kenny Veringer and Craig Kinch and Justin Allen for building this car. It's amazing.
Class B winners Jan and Hendrik Kraai were also fourth overall in the Special Vehicle category.
I did the first half, the time trial in the first half, and then we swapped over at refuel, and then my dad drove the way home.
Jan, what do you prefer, driving or navigating?
I like both. The navigating in the first loop is challenging, so it's important that you navigate good in the first loop. In the second loop it's a bit easier, but I prefer the driving.
A second win in a row for Evan Hutchison and Achim Bergman, who had nearly 2 minutes to spare over Shamir Variawa and Siegfried Rousseau. There were also great performances from the Kraais and Johan van Staden and James Rousseau in Class P.
For Evan Hutchinson, it had been a topsy-turvy day.
It's been a hell of a day. We had a good morning. We got up into the lead, and then we had some problems when we came into the pits, so we dropped back up fifth place. So those mountains became very, very steep and sharp, kind of catching past the guys. So it's been a hell of a run, yeah.
In the Production Vehicle category, Duncan Foss and Ralph Pitchford had nearly 12 minutes to spare over Thomas Rundle and Henny ter Steege. Ivar Tollefson and Quinn Evans gave Nissan a second podium place, with the rest of the top 10 filled out by Toyota Hilux models.
For Duncan Foss and Ralph Pitchford, it had been anything but a drive through the park.
Today we started off first and we thought we'd just take it easy, but 6 kilometers into the race we had no brakes, so we had to stop and do some roadside repairs. It took us about 8 minutes to fix the problem, and we're back on track in 25th position.
The traditional spraying of the champagne put the finishing touches to what had been a highly interesting race, with high praise for the route and a job well done by clerk of the course Joe Ferrie and his team from the Algoa Motorsport Club.
After 2 rounds, Duncan Foss and Rolf Pitchford have a healthy lead at the top of the Production Vehicle Championship. 2 wins each this season see Dion Venter and Ian Palmer leading Class E and Cliff and Louis Weichelt leading the Class D championships.
Two wins in 2 outings have also given Evan Hutchison and Achim Bergman a healthy early lead in the special vehicle category. The fight for second and third is a close one, with Johan and Etienne Besaidnout leading Class P and Bez and Dion Besaidnout Class B.
The ABSA Off-Road Championship moves to KwaZulu-Natal for round 3 of the series on May the 15th and 16th. Event headquarters is at the Beaumont Eston Farmers Club, and another testing route will bring out the best in South Africa's top off-road stars.
That was the ultimate test.